Hi guys, it's Amy, your golf coach. Today we're wrapping up the winter project series. This is the final episode. Thank you to you guys. I have actually been able to work on my swing a little bit this off season and hopefully gain distance. Today I'm going to compare my 7-iron's distance from the very first day I started this project to today's. Before we do that though, I have prepared a fantastic lesson, a final lesson that's going to be a game changer. Let's get started. All right, so I'll start with a confession. When I was a junior golfer, I played for New Zealand. I was on their national squad and I was fairly good, but I was actually a short hitter because in New Zealand, it's an island, right? So it's super windy. The golf courses are short and tree line super narrow. So we had to keep the ball fairly low and be great at trouble shots. So that's what I was good at. Once I moved to the States in high school, I realized I was a shorty. And that's when I started focusing on gaining distance. So it was not until college I was actually able to work out. Since I stopped growing, I was able to lift heavier. So I started working out. My main focus in college was to gain distance. And I remember this 1 month I spent doing this one little practice, I ended up gaining 30 yards. I mean, it's probably a combination of everything I worked on, but this last drill I did really made it happen and I ended up hitting the same tour average of 250 yards. So going from a shorty to keeping up with the rest of the best in the world was a big achievement for me. And, you know, I really still appreciate the work I had to put in because I was a shorty, because that helps me to teach people to actually really gain distance compared to those other players or coaches that were born long hitters. I know how to lengthen distance. So I'm actually going to share that secret of 1 month training I did. What I did was I picked a club that I really didn't like at the time. At the time it was a 4-iron and I took like 2 hours every day. So it was 2 hours of extra practice on top of my short game, long game, everything else. So 2 hours, I took my 4-iron and I worked on the lag the first 30 minutes. So basically, when you start working on your lag, you're exaggerating on that movement. So there's a lot of tension in your hands. So you're going to miss the timing to release. So everything's gonna basically miss right. Like I didn't really pay attention to that because I was working on a specific motion. When you work on that lag, it actually helps you to weight shift a little bit better too. So I worked on that lag technique specifically for the first 30 minutes. And then for the rest hour and a half, I picked the target. For example, my 4-iron at the time was going 175 yards. Then I would pick a target at 175 yards. And I spent the next hour and a half trying to land the ball past that target. I didn't always succeed, but that was my goal for an hour and a half. And I worked on that every single day for a whole month. And there was this girl on my team who always outdrove me by 10 yards. So I hadn't played with anybody for a whole month because I was just like dialed in on gaining this distance. And then after a month, I played with the whole team and I literally flew that girl's ball and I was about 20-25 yards longer than her on every single tee shot. And like the whole team was like, what did you do in the past month? Because I just gained like 30 yards and it's like impossible, right? And that's the secret. I worked on my lag like this. I exaggerated. And I really didn't care how the ball went. So I was doing that for the first 30 minutes. And then I was just really picked my target and just really focused on landing the ball past the target. This is probably helpful for those who already have a decent, consistent swing. If you don't have the most consistent swing when you are target focused and you do that every day, you might lose your swing. But if you're willing to give up a little bit of technique for a month and then just really work on your distance, you're welcome to try it. And then you probably have to go back and work on your technique and then come back again for the distance and keep going back and forth until your swing becomes very consistent and the distance kind of stays with you. That was the story of me gaining a lot of distance during my college years. So now it's for the truth. I'm gonna hit a couple 7-irons. I remember I hit some terrible ones. It was like right around 120, wasn't it? Like it was terrible. So enough talking, let's hit. What? Wait, it could be a fluke. Let me do a couple more. I have the flight scope here set up. That's what I measured with last time too. That's really consistent. Wow, I really didn't think I was gonna gain this much. I did work out. I'm gonna continue to work out all of this year. So hopefully next off season, I'll have my 7-iron up to 155. That'll be beautiful. So it was very consistent in the high 140s. What? Wow. I mean, I was playing with letting me know, and I noticed I kept pulling out my 7-iron for like in the 140s, and I was like, what? I remember like barely making like 130 with my 7-iron. So I didn't really think about it that much until I just saw the numbers. I really wasn't expecting this much. But this is great, I love it, I'll take it. That final little secret practice I've shown you, it's really going to help you to weight shift beautifully, get the lag going so you don't cast. And then the target play, that's going to really have you aware of trying to, you know, create a little bit more speed to get it over that target. So there it is. This past off season, we got to work on our games and also gain a little bit of distance. So that was amazing for me to actually do that. So for the end of this year, the next off season, I'm going to prepare a more thorough series for you guys so we can really get our game going for the following year. Spring is starting, so golf season is starting up. So I have prepared a new series to actually help you score better out on the golf course. It's going to be a lot simpler things to work on since now it's a go time instead of just working on parts of your swing. Please look forward to that new series. Thank you so much for golfing with me today. I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.